All right, so get this picture-perfect lake, right? Like the kind you see on postcards, crystal clear water, pine trees all around.
Yeah.
Lago Sombrio. Sounds
Yeah.
idyllic, yeah. Well, it's got this seriously creepy story attached to it.
Oh, yeah, I know about this one. It's messed up.
Yeah, so we're talking like you and your friends head out there for a weekend camping trip. You're roasting marshmallows, telling stories, having a blast,
Mm.
and then bam, someone disappears.
And not just someone. We're talking about multiple disappearances all happening in the same spot.
Exactly.
Yes.
That's what we're diving into today, this whole mystery of Lago Sombrio. We've got this, well, it's more like fragments, really, this text file we found. And it's all about this group of friends who went camping there. 6 of them go out there, but only 2 ever come back.
Yeah, and the source material is wild. Like, it reads like something straight out of a horror movie, you know? You've
Yeah.
got the isolation of the wilderness, the growing sense of dread, the fear of the unknown. It's all there.
So let's get this straight. 6 friends, 1 creepy lake, and 4 of them just vanish.
That's the gist, yeah. And the text doesn't hold back on the details. It gets into the nitty-gritty of their experience, the psychological toll it takes on them as things start to unravel.
Oh, man. Okay, so let's break this down then. 6 friends head out to Lago Sombrio. They set up camp. Everything seems, normal. What happens next?
So it starts innocently enough. They arrive on Friday, all excited for their trip, set up camp, no problems. It's Saturday morning when things take a turn. That's when they realize Lucas, one of the friends, is missing.
Wait, so he just vanishes overnight. No sign of him, no note, nothing.
Nothing. The text really emphasizes how completely baffling it is. They search everywhere, call his name, but there's just nothing. It's like he disappeared into thin air.
And naturally, at that point, the panic starts to set in, right? I mean, you're in the middle of nowhere. Your friend is gone without a trace.
Exactly. It's that shift, right? One minute you're laughing around a campfire, the next you're facing this terrifying unknown. And it gets worse. As if losing Lucas wasn't bad enough, later that same day, Carla disappears too.
Oh, come on, 2 of them. Just like that.
Just like that. The text really drives home the sense of dread that starts to take hold of the group. They're isolated, their numbers are dwindling, and they have absolutely no idea what they're up against. It's like something out of a nightmare.
Okay, this is giving me chills. So 2 friends gone, no explanation. What do the others do?
Well, they're terrified, obviously. But they try to rationalize it, try to convince themselves there's a logical explanation. Maybe Lucas and Carla wandered off, got lost, something like that. But deep down, the text hints that they know something is very wrong.
And they'd be right to think that, wouldn't they? Because it sounds like this is just the beginning.
Oh, yeah, it gets much worse. The following night, 2 more of the friends vanish. Again, no explanation, no signs of a struggle, just gone.
This is insane. 4 people just vanished.
That's the mystery, right? And the text really hammers home the psychological impact on the remaining 2 friends, Anna and Marcos. Imagine the terror, the feeling of being hunted, of not knowing who or what is coming for you next.
So at this point, it's down to just Anna and Marcos. What happens to them?
They decide to run, to make a break for it. The text describes them fleeing through the woods in the dead of night, the feeling of being pursued, of something dark and menacing closing in on them.
Hold on. Pursued by what? An animal. A person.
That's the thing the text doesn't specify. It leaves that question hanging, which just adds to the creepiness factor.
You're killing me with the suspense here. So do they make it out of the woods?
They do. Eventually, they stumble out of the woods and find a village. Exhausted, terrified, they report the disappearances to the local authorities. But here's where things get a little murky.
Murky? How? What do you mean?
The text is vague on the details of the search efforts. We don't know how extensively they searched, what methods they used, if they found any clues. It just sort of skips ahead.
So we don't know if they ever found anything, any trace of the missing friends.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
that lack of closure, that open-ended mystery, it's like a breeding ground for legends. And that's exactly what happened at Lago Sombrio.
Of course. I mean, how could it not? You have this beautiful, secluded lake, and then this string of bizarre, unexplained disappearances.
It's a recipe for folklore, right? And the stories about Lago Sombrio spread like wildfire.
What kind of stories? Give me the good stuff.
Well, you know how it is whispers of curses, rumors of ancient spirits, tales of a malevolent presence lurking beneath the water's surface.
So Lago Sombrio goes from idyllic vacation spot to, what, cursed lake?
Pretty much. People start avoiding it, claiming it's haunted, a place where bad things happen.
I mean, I can't say I blame them, but is there any truth to the stories? Or is it all just, fear and superstition running wild?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And that's what makes this story so fascinating. It forces us to confront that line between fact and fiction, between what we can explain and what remains shrouded in mystery.
So we've got this idyllic lake-turned horror story, rumors swirling, people avoiding the place like the plague. But it doesn't end there, does it?
It doesn't. The story of Lago Sombrio takes an even stranger turn, because years later we learn that Anna, one of the survivors, she goes back.
Hold up, wait. Back to the lake, after everything that happened. Seriously, why would she do that?
The text kind of hints at this pull she feels, this almost irresistible urge to return to Lago Sombrio. Like she needs to confront it, you know?
I guess. I mean, maybe she was searching for answers or some kind of closure, trying to make sense of the trauma, the loss.
Right. Or maybe deep down, she believed there was something more to uncover, something that would explain the unexplainable. The text leaves it open to interpretation, but it's clear that Anna felt drawn back to that place, even after everything.
So she goes back. What happens then?
Well, there's this one scene, it's pretty chilling. Anna's standing at the edge of the lake. You can almost feel the weight of the memories, the fear.
Okay, yeah, I'm picturing it.
And as she looks out at the water, she sees faces reflected back at her.
No way. Is it?
It is. The faces of her friends, the ones who disappeared. But here's the thing. The text describes their eyes as vacant, empty, almost accusing.
Oh, man. That's messed up.
Right. It's like the lake itself is taunting her, reminding her of her loss, of the friends she couldn't save.
So does the text tell us what happens next? Does she find any answers, anything at all?
This is where it gets really unsettling. Moments after seeing the faces, Anna disappears into the lake.
Wait, disappears how? What happened? Did she drown? Did she...
The text is deliberately vague on the specifics. It just says she was gone, as if the lake had claimed her.
Oh, wow. Okay. So we're left to wonder, was she pulled under by, something? Or was it her choice? Like, did she go willingly? Maybe a subconscious surrender to the grief and guilt.
That's the ambiguity the text leaves us with. Did some unseen force drag her down, or did Anna, haunted by survivor's guilt, choose to join her friends in the depths of Lago Sombrio? It's a question without a clear answer.
This is heavy stuff. So what about Marcos, the other survivor? Any mention of what happened to him after all of this?
Yeah. Sadly, it seems he never really escaped the shadow of Lago Sombrio either. He never went back, but according to the text, he was plagued by nightmares, haunted by what he'd experienced, that sense of, I don't know, like unfinished business maybe.
Haunted by the lake and the friends he lost. Understandable, I guess, but still awful.
It is, and the text emphasizes that with this really eerie detail. It says that on his deathbed, Marcos's last words were, "The lake, it calls to me."
No way. Chills, man, chills.
It's like even in death, Lago Sombrio had a hold on him, haunting.
This whole thing just screams, stay away. I mean, you've got these unexplained disappearances, this sense of dread that just hangs over the lake.
And it gets creepier. Because the story doesn't end there. The text mentions something else that adds a whole other layer to this whole thing, a warning sign.
Oh, what? A warning sign? Seriously, a warning sign. Like, they actually put up a sign telling people to stay away from Lago Sombrio.
Yeah. It's like, after everything that happened, the locals decided they needed to warn people. Can you imagine?
You'd think the stories alone would be enough to keep people away.
Yeah.
So what did it say? Was it like, beware, lake monster, with a stick figure drawing?
No, it's way creepier than that. It describes this weathered wooden sign, half hidden by trees, paint all faded and peeling, like something out of a horror movie.
Oh, man, you're good at this. All right, so what does this creepy sign say? Give me the details.
It's hard to make out, according to the text. Like, time has tried to erase the words, but they're still there, a warning. It says, "Warning, do not camp near Lago Sombrio. Here disappeared 6 young people. The lake is cursed. Do not challenge its darkness."
Whoa, okay. They weren't messing around. Talk about ominous. The lake is cursed. Do not challenge its darkness. Intense.
Right, and that's the thing. It's like they're blending those real-life events with the supernatural.
Totally. It's like, here's what we know happened,
Yeah.
and here's what we're afraid of.
Exactly. It acknowledges the tragedy, but then throws in that whole cursed lake thing for good measure.
I'd say they got their point across. Who'd be dumb enough to ignore a warning like that?
Well, about that, the text mentions that even with the warning sign, even with all the stories, some people are still drawn to Lago Sombrio.
Get out. Seriously.
Yeah.
People still go there. Why? What is it about that place?
It's like we were saying before, right? That human curiosity. We can't resist the pull of the unknown, even when it's potentially dangerous. Some people probably go looking for answers, trying to prove or disprove the legends. Others, maybe they're just, I don't know, chasing the thrill of it all.
I guess I get it. But still, This whole thing is giving me the chills. So what's the final verdict? Is Lago Sombrio really cursed?
Yeah.
Is there something evil lurking beneath the surface? Or is it, just a tragic series of events that people have spun into something more?
That's the question, isn't it? And that's what makes these stories so fascinating, that line between what we can explain and what we can't. Maybe there's a logical explanation for everything that happened at Lagos Umbrio. Or maybe, just maybe, there are some places where the veil between our world and something else is a little thinner, a little more permeable.
Okay, now that is creepy. I think you've officially creeped me out. Well, there you have it, folks. The mystery of Lago Sombrio, unexplained disappearances, eerie legends, and a warning you'd be crazy to ignore. This deep dive has given us a lot to think about. Until next time, stay curious, but maybe stick to lakes that don't come with warning signs.